Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is Mango Oblivion Plays, and today we'll be going over the news from the Pokemon world all the way through the middle of April. I hope you're excited for all the new things that are coming out, especially now the Switch 2 has been officially announced and kind of that era has launched. We're going to start getting some more information about future Pokemon endeavors. So let's begin. Back in Scarlet and Violet, we've got a few new things happening. The first being Regulation Set I. If you remember, about a year ago, they went all the way up to Regulation Set H, and then they moved back to Regulation G, and now we're going to be moving forward to Regulation I. A lot of competitive players will be familiar with Regulation I's rules because they're going to be now allowing 2 restricted Pokemon on a team. This will begin in May, and no new Pokemon were added to the restricted list. So Pokemon like Pecharunt are not available. You cannot use that one, but you can use all the Pokemon that were available in Regulation G uh, as your restricted Pokemon. Also, the Salamence Mightiest Mark raid has begun as of yesterday. This Salamence is 7 stars. It's going to have the flying type. It does have Moxie. When I made this slide, I didn't know beforehand. And it is a mixed attacker. It does have Dragon Dance at the end of the raid. So it is going to be difficult, but there is already a pretty reliable solution to this. And that solution is Electros. If you use this set, you should be able to defeat it no problem. It is very helpful to have a Intimidate setter when you do this raid. So I would reset until you get Arcanine, Staraptor, or Tauros. Um, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to lead off with a Gaster Acid to eliminate its Moxie ability. You're going to use Eerie Impulse to lower its stats, and then you're going to Acid Spray until you can Terra, and then you'll be using Discharge to defeat um, this Pokemon. One addendum to this, you are going to want to put your 252 points into special defense and then put the rest in special attack. Um, that's going to help it survive a little longer. So that's what you should definitely be doing, and that'll probably work very well for you. Yep. So those are the only addendums to this set here. You should put your EVs into special defense instead of special attack, and you should use these moves, and you should be set. It's going to be a um, very powerful but consistent way of beating the Salamence. Let's move on to Pokemon Go, where we have a few things happening right now. The first of which is the Pokemon Horizon celebration that is currently happening. This is a special event that's celebrating the fact that the second season of Pokemon Horizons is going on. Captain Pikachu is returning, as well as a special Floragato with Liko's hat. Hatenna, Charcadet, and Tinkatink are in 7K eggs, and this is the debut of the Tinkatink line. And then lots of Pokemon affiliated with the show are in raids. So it's a nice little small event that they're doing in Pokemon Go to honor the anime. On Monday, or no, sorry, tomorrow, Saturday, today, this video is coming out on the 19th. So Gigantamax Snorlax is happening on the 19th. Phalanx, Machamp, and Passimian are going to be helpful Pokemon for this battle, but probably Machamp is going to be your best bet. It's been out the longest. You've probably been able to develop several Machamps by this point. So those are going to be the most helpful Pokemon for this max battle. But Passimian is also pretty strong. So some solid options there to take on this Gigantamax Pokemon tomorrow from 2 to 5 local time. Another event featuring the debut of Applin and its evolutions Flapple and Appletun will begin April 24th, and it'll run until April 29th. Applin will appear as an apple on the map, so you won't see Applin, you'll be seeing apples appear, and that'll be Applin. You will need to get special items to evolve Applin into Flapple or Appletun, which will be collectible in game. I think you need like 50 of each or something like that, and they will not add to your item limit, so you don't have to worry about having space to have hundreds of apples. You'll be able to just collect them, no problem. Dynamax Entei is also getting a weekend. Raikou is a couple of weeks ago. So Entei will be appearing in Max Battles the weekend of the 26th and 27th. For this event, the max particle collection limit will be increased. The power spots will give more particles. They're going to make it easier for you to do multiple Enteis. Um, so get out there and try to catch one while you can. Let's move over to Pokemon Masters EX. The second Academy event has begun. It is called the Pazio Paranormal Studies Club. And this one features Florian as the free sync pair in the event. And Florian has Lechonk. Two other Academy sync pairs are in the sync pair selector, and that is Marnie and Morty. Marnie teams up with Cyclizar, and it's going to be a sprint sync pair, and Morty is teaming up with Hisuian Typhlosion, and that is going to be a strike sync pair. So you can get those in the shop by spending your gems. A little bit more about Florian. They're going to be free at the start of the event. Lechonk is very defensive. I've noticed I've gotten to A rank with him already. I would highly suggest focusing on getting red and green goos or whatever they're called, and then really piling on its defense. Don't worry about unlocking a second attack. You don't need it. At least that's not what I've noticed. So if you load up on defense, you should be able to make it through just fine. Let's switch over to Pokemon trading cards. The next set, Destined Rivals, is releasing May 30th, and all of the cards that are going to be in the set have now been released in Japan, so we know really what the contents of the set is going to be. The trainers featured in the set are Cynthia, Ethan, Misty, Arvin, and then Team Rocket. Instead of having individual names for the different Team Rocket admins and grunts, they will all just be called Team Rocket Pokemon. And that means those Pokemon will all have synergy with each other, which is a very interesting thing. Just the pictures are going to change on the cards. That being said, there are over 20 Team Rocket Pokemon in this set, and they are all very interesting, and they will all be able to be utilized with the special Team Rocket items that have been added in this set, and all of that sort of thing. There's going to be a lot of interesting synergies that we can utilize with these cards, and I can see Team Rocket decks potentially becoming a force, definitely being able to hold their own in the meta. So that's kind of interesting. Some other Pokemon EX added in this second half of this set are Arboliva, which has a pretty interesting one energy attack called Gatling Oil. And then Aroma Shot does 160 and heal special conditions, which is not a bad ability. Titan EX can't be affected by opponents' items and supporters, so it can't get bossed out. But it does have a pretty solid move in Crushing Press. You discard a Stadium to do 280 damage. And then Regirock EX, you can attach energy to itself from the discard pile with its first attack, and then with its second attack, it does 280 if the Pokemon you are facing is a Stage 2 Pokemon. So pretty solid EXs added in that are not affiliated with Team Rocket. And then some other cool cards that were added. Team Rocket's Pokeball is going to let you search for basic or evolution Team Rocket's Pokemon based on a coin flip. Team Rocket's Giovanni lets you switch your Team Rocket Pokemon and then switch your opponent's Pokemon. Team Rocket's Watchtower will give normal Pokemon in play no ability. So you can eliminate the abilities of some normal type Pokemon with Rocket's Watchtower. And then the Team Rocket energy can be attached to Team Rocket Pokemon, and they provide 2 psychic and dark energies. So you can use it as 2 psychic energies. You can use it as 2 dark energies. You can use it as a psychic and a dark energy. Really, it's going to be useful. You can use these cards to play both Mewtwo EX and the Dark type Rocket cards in the same deck, which is very helpful. Let's move on to the other Pokemon trading card game out, Pokemon Pocket. A new Wonder Pick event did just start featuring Pachirisu and Riolu. And Lucario items are going to be available in the shop for this event, which is going to have, Lucario coin, there's a Lucario sleeve, there's a playmat, and then there's also some Cynthia themed stuff in there as well. Ranked battle season is coming close to the end very soon. It ends on April 27th. Remember, reaching the highest rank possible will get you more rewards, so do try to reach for that master level if you can. Let's move on to Pokemon Sleep. After the Cresselia Darkrai event, many people did get Darkrai, but there's not really an easy way to power up this new friend of ours. There is a future event that is coming that will help us power up Darkrai and improve it. Also, if you didn't get Darkrai during the event, you can get him during this upcoming event. So there will be another chance to get Darkrai if you did not get him earlier. They're also adding a new feature soon called a befriending badge, and it's basically a new feature that rewards you for befriending the same Pokemon more and more. So you unlock these badges as you befriend a Pokemon multiple times, and there's three different sets. There's bronze, silver, and gold, and as you increase the level of the badge, it's going to increase the rewards you get for having that badge. So you can increase the power of your Pokemon skills. You can give them new abilities, and then also it can increase the shiny encounter rate for those Pokemon. So if there's a Pokemon you really like and you don't have the shiny for it yet, you might want to continuously befriend it because then you can get these badges. Some miscellaneous things to talk about. First of all, Google made a Pokemon game in their search engine. Basically, you can Google any of the original Pokemon, and if you look at a page that it pulls up, you can then capture them, and then you can complete the Pokedex. It's a fun little thing to do if you're that into catching Pokemon. Second, the Pokemon anime continues with the second part of season 2 coming out on April 25th in the United States. So you can continue watching Roy and Liko and Dot. In Japan, part 3 of the show, following the time skip, has started releasing episodes, and all the main characters have improved their team during the time skip, and there's a fourth main character that they are adding in this point in the show. Finally, the Switch 2 was detailed in that Nintendo Direct earlier in the month. And it's basically confirmed at this point that Generation 10 will be exclusively on the Switch 2. So by the time Generation 10 releases, you're going to need to have this if you're going to want to continue playing. Other exciting news, they are making a GameCube emulator on the Switch 2 as part of the Nintendo Online Family Pack. And Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon Colosseum 2 are going to be coming to that service, not initially at launch, but in the future after its release. So that's very exciting because those games are a lot of fun. Finally, we're going to talk a little bit about Pokemon ZA. If you've gotten to this point and you don't want to get any potential spoilers or anything like that, go ahead and click off the video. Otherwise, we're going to talk a little bit about some potential spoilers for the game based on some leaks. So if you are trying to be spoiler free, go ahead and click off. Thanks for getting to this point in the video. So first of all, Pokemon ZA is going to be released on the Switch and the Switch 2. The Switch 2 version is going to have enhanced graphics and better frame rates. Basically, it's just going to be beefed up to the point where it's going to play well on the Switch 2's new hard drive and processor. So it's going to have a much better frame rate. The graphics are going to look much nicer. It's just going to be a nicer version of the game. Unlike some other Switch games that are being released simultaneously on the Switch and the Switch 2, it doesn't seem like there's going to be any different features for this game in the Switch 2 version. It's just going to have better graphics and frame rates. Moving on, there's been a lot of chatter on the internet about potential leaks to the game. The most consistent one, though, is which Pokemon will be receiving a Mega Evolution in the ZA games. This list has been very consistently talked about from multiple leakers, and it seems that these 17 Pokemon are for sure going to be receiving a new Mega Evolution in the game. A lot of these Pokemon make sense. The three new starter Pokemon are going to receive a Mega Evolution. It seems that the Gen 6 starters would also receive a Mega Evolution, like most people figured. And then most of the other Pokemon that are being filled in, some are a little bit more surprising, others are not. But it's definitely most heavily focused on Gen 6 Pokemon getting Mega Evolutions, as they had zero when X and Y first came out. All the Mega Evolutions were past generation Pokemon. And so Gen 5 and Gen 6 are being filled in a little bit with some new Mega Evolutions. Surprisingly, some Pokemon from future generations, post Gen 6, have also been lined up to receive one. That includes Phalanx, Drampa, and Zeraora. Thanks so much for watching and staying up to date on all of the Pokemon news. We'll be back when more news drops. But until then, best of luck out there, trainers, and we'll see you again very soon. Adios.